Working with fear of judgment instead of waiting to be fearless. I'll tell you something that took me a long time to believe and accept. If I was to wait till there was no fear to start putting myself out there, I think I would still be waiting because there is that little fear. But if we also reframe that a little bit, we can transform that into excitement. But we go one step at a time. So before you show up, identify that fear and really put in practice the noticing when you feel that fear coming up and you're going to put something online, let's say, an image, a new body of work. Like once I started really feeling brave enough to share something that was different from my usual, because that's another thing, like you've been creating, you're out there, you have a way that you show your work, and then you decide to put something different. Is not just the act of start doing it that generates fear. The fear of doing something different is also a fear that we can explore here, and it's something that I do feel often. And the key is really going with it. It's not to pretend that the fear is not there, but really assessing it. Is that a kind of fear that's real, or is it perceiving threat? You know what I mean? Just really understand that. And then telling about my story. Writing has never been a task that I perform really well. Not in Portuguese, nor in English. Spelling is not my strongest point. But every time that I posted and there was a spelling mistake that I just later on found out, because often when I'm start writing something and then I go around back and forth and then in the end becomes like a shit show. But every time that I posted something and then later I was like, oh, I can't believe that I did that. Or someone came like, hey, kindly, that's not quite the right way to write that. So that has been with me for a long time. Now, with the blessings of AI, I can literally verbally tell what I want to tell on that post, for instance, and get the written version of it, which to me is fantastic because really I can articulate myself verbally way better and way faster than writing. So that's something that transformed to me. But I didn't stop doing the posts or going and putting it out there because of the fear. I went with fear. And sometimes it was a deception. Sometimes it made me feel like awkward, ashamed, or be hard on myself. But you know what? In the end, we have so much in our minds that no one is really paying attention. And that it's not the thing that's going to be changing someone's life. So just as a refresher. And then the other thing that I've been learning how to express and show myself authentically is I do enjoy when things are aesthetically pleasing. And I do have a challenge of start showing more of the reality of how messy my studio gets when I'm in this process of creation, or when I have a few projects going on, or when I'm trying new things, and like this messy chaos, which is reality. So I'm getting this fear of judgment of my creative mess out of the forefront, so then I can actually take videos and photos when not everything is perfect and it's just what it is. And people really do not look at it as oh wow, look how messy she is. Don't even know how she can create in a studio that's a chaos like that. No one really thinks like that. And if they do, as well, it's their opinion, but that is not stopping anyone from appreciating my work. Because whether there is a spelling mistake, whether there is a messy studio, in the end, my work speaks for itself. It has a lot of love, a lot of care. There's a lot of aesthetic. There's a lot of emotion that is expressed by the final piece of work. But people really connect with the process. Because let's just bring an example, simple one. So everyone that comes to me, and we talk and of that, when they come to the studio and they see it raw and real, that's what they're gonna get. So why, when we get it on video or on photos, it needs to be perfect? It's just not real. And that's what we are learning on this course, how to be authentic and real. For sure, all the right to get aesthetic pleasing and more organized. If someone was coming to visit me in the studio, it's likely that I would do a little organizing, shifting, and tidying up anyway. But just understand when it becomes too much and stops you from actually showing up online. And then, like, when the fear shows up, there's that inner dialogue that we are familiar with. And that's something for us to bring to awareness as well. What is that voice inside of your mind saying? Is that limiting you? Can you understand that that voice is not you, but is often quite judgmental? What if we could transform that internal voice in a cheerleader rather than the worst critic? So, who do you think you are? Oh, you're doing great. You're doing the best of your ability. You're doing something new. So just really, one thing that helped me a lot is changing this perspective as the observer. So let's flip this game. Imagine that I'm an outsider observing my daughter doing what I'm doing. How would I support her? If she comes to me and say, oh, I went to record something, but I said something wrong. Well, that's okay. You know, like, that's not a big deal. Everyone does sometimes stumble on their words and things as such. You're definitely doing well. And let's say, oh, I went to take a picture, but I didn't like it. Oh, you could try another one. Why you just don't try another angle? Try another day. So understanding this voice that is in our head, and how could we be our best friends? How could we be self-loving and kind to ourselves on this process? We are growing, we are developing, and it's okay to do not get everything right on the first, on the second, on the third time. But understand that this voice is not us, but it does feel like us, but often is criticizing. So just observe that and see if you can teach yourself how to appreciate your own efforts a little bit better, because that can transform a lot. So before recording this video for you today, looked at myself in the mirror and I said that I would do it, that I know how much this content that is to come gonna shift so many people's life. And that's why I'm here to do it. It's not necessarily easy. I'm not necessarily getting it as good as I would like to, because it's the nature of it, but I'm doing the best of my ability now. And that's the most important thing. And so far, all the videos that I recorded, I finished and I watched, and I really like what I've done, because I know that's the best that I can do now. And this first chapter is just the very beginning of it. We're really going to get into the work later on in the next chapters, but just so then you get an idea of this mental process, which is super important and happens with me too. So now we're going to bring in a challenge. So I really want to ask you to try something new. So the practice will be gentle. You're going to just put a post out there that feels authentic, something that you would tell someone that you like about it, something that's meaningful, that makes you feel something, that inspires you in your work, something that you've been creating, something that you've been testing, something that has a little bit of vulnerability as well, that not necessarily feels safe, not necessarily is a photo of a finished product. Can be too, but just go one little step further. And then when you come to check how it performed, just be mindful that you can feel how much of a fear there was to express that, and how much that fear was real. So give yourself some time to reflect on that. But I challenge you to just gently put something out there today. Can be something on an older picture or video that you go back and found and bring it up. Can be something completely new. But those little baby steps, it's really where the transformation happens. There's something that I heard once that is called a trust muscle. So you start really developing that trust, and that muscle starts to grow and get stronger and robust. So that's what we want to work on this specific lesson. Just trust yourself a little bit, trust that you can go and do it and overcome that fear and get something new. And that goes a little bit like just that feeling that the feet is just touching the bottom of the swimming pool. That's the vibe. So I hope you can do it. I know that's not always easy, but just give yourself some time. Get comfortable, relax, take a few breaths, and put something out there today. And we're going to work on many more little challenges and little things as we keep going through. And you're going to learn a lot about the platform. Don't worry, we'll get there.